You guys can watch it later if you want to. I don't know why you would, but you can. As always, please feel free to ask questions, to interrupt, so to speak. Really, usually when you ask something, somebody else is thinking it, and you know, kind of help enliven the discussion, as I would say. Okay, can we all see chapter 8 here? Yeah, good. You guys are going to be this excited, by the way, once we're about 2 more days into this. This gets riveting. I'm just letting you know. Okay, so we talked about this day 1. I said, what's massage? And some of you very astutely said, it's the manipulation of soft tissue using compression and traction for therapeutic, palliative, self-care, or recreational purposes. Even though I would never say a sentence that long in my life. So we're going to kind of talk about that. But what I argued about that statement was it still doesn't say how massage works. And so one of my arguments that I made was massage, not always, but one of the things that massage does, the reason it allows the body to heal itself, right? Which ties into the story we heard today about eyesight, right? Is that massage increases blood flow. And blood is something.
It's life.
Thank you. Thank you. Blood is life. And when you cut off blood to an area, you can't see. And when you get blood access back there again, you can see. So anyway, blood is life. And one of the things we do in massage is compressions, which is literally to squeeze or depress some area just to increase blood flow, like squeezing out a sponge. That's one of the reasons massage works. Again, we're not healing somebody. We are actually opening up the channels for healing so blood can get to that area. That's one of the things that we do. One of the other things that we do very typically in massage is stretch tissue. And we do it for 2 reasons. One is that we literally want to elongate tissue. So it sounds really strange, but I will be talking about this for the next 9 months at deeper and deeper levels. But if I work all day long at a computer, right, there are muscles inside my body actually that connect to my lower back and the inside of my hips and then to my lesser trochanter and my femur. And if they shorten, because I work at a desk all the time, I can't straighten up all the way. And you will get clients that kind of come in like this. And we might want to stretch those muscles out to allow them to stand up all the way. Yeah? Miss Monreal, what muscles was I talking about?
Okay, I was listening, but I didn't see what you were doing. I was folding my laundry. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Miss Monreal, yeah, hip muscles, sir. But Miss Monreal, what muscles, it's 2 muscles to go by one name that attach to the inside of my lower back, the anterior portion of my lumbar region, the inside of my pelvis and down. They both insert down into my lesser trochanter of my femur, and they allow for a flexion of the hip or an anterior tilt of the pelvis.
Iliopsoas.
Thank you. Okay, so everybody, my iliopsoas could be short, and then I wouldn't be able to get up all the way, and so you stretching that out would allow me to once again stand up. And so we care about stretching. That's one of the reasons we care about stretching, and that was just one example. We're literally trying to elongate the cables of the body so that people can stand properly, so people can function properly, and so athletes can function at a higher level, by the way, because if some of these cables, I know they're not cables, they're muscles and fascia and such, but if they're tight, they're actually holding me back from performance. And so by merely loosening them, you can actually increase my performance instantly, actually, because there's stuff holding me back. So that's one of the reasons that we stretch tissue. The second reason is the first reason I gave you in massage, that massage works. When you stretch tissue, it allows what to get inside it? Thank you. Miss Estes just mouthed it. Yes, and I read lips, so I knew that. Yes. Blood. It allows blood to get in there. So one of the reasons that we stretch tissue is also because it allows blood to get in there. It's an excellent way to get blood in there. So I can elongate the tissue with that, but it's another way, instead of compressing tissue, I'm stretching it to allow blood in there. Some people argue that all massage is stretching. Why would somebody say that? Why would somebody say why massage is just stretching? I'm not saying they're right, but why could that argument be made? Yes, yes, yes. Ms. McDowell, please.
From what we know, which is very basic rudimentary level, like with the effleurage, like you're literally just like moving the tissue and that's creating the blood flow, which, you know, is like what we're doing right now in class.
Yeah. So in a way, you're stretching tissue when you effleurage. Mm-hmm. When I press down, I'm stretching tissue out in that area. A pressure point is most definitely stretching tissue in that area. It's a micro stretch. It's tiny. It's different than stretching a whole arm. But I am stretching tissue. Otherwise, my finger couldn't go in here if something's not stretching. Like when stuff doesn't stretch, it's like my forehead. Right? That's a bone stopping it. But the fact is, tissue is stretching, yeah. And so one could argue whether you're compressing, squeezing, rubbing, twisting, literally stretching, that you're always stretching tissue. Wouldn't be a crazy argument to make. Yeah. Cool. Just things to think about. Things to think about. Some words that will come up later for us. I don't mean even today. I just meant for the rest of the course. There's certain things that you should just know as a massage therapist. And you'll often hear me highlight these words, not even because I think they're going to change your life, although some will, but some are just important because there's certain things people just use so commonly, I want you to know them. They're like conversational massage talk. So, does anybody know what palliative means or palliative care means? Besides my students who should know.
I know what palliative care is.
Thank you, Mr. Tate. What is palliative care?
Palliative care is when you're making sure that somebody's comfortable.
Yeah.
So that's your job, is to make sure they're comfortable.
Yeah. What is it? That's 100% correct. It is to make somebody comfortable, not to improve them. That's the key. Right. Normally you're going to massage to improve. I want my back to get better. I want my performance to get better. I want my whatever. I want to feel better. Palliative care is not really, it's not that, it's comfort. I realize that's feeling better, but it's comfort. So when is it most typical to apply palliative care?
When you have care that you can't fix, like hospice.
Yeah. Thank you. You answered this question perfectly. Yes, you can do palliative care anytime, but the fact is we usually associate it with end of life. With somebody who is not comfortable, not happy. You're obviously not going to be in there and be like, Mr. Tapscott, you're 117 years old, but we're going to work on your hamstring flexibility so you can run better. No, please don't. If you're my massage therapist when I'm 116 years old, just rub my forehead and tell me everything's going to be okay, whatever. Palliative care, right? You are rubbing the aches and pains just to make them better, not to improve them. This is actually unlike what you will do. 99% of the time, you're going to be doing therapeutic work. But there are times when you do palliative care. So the word means just to provide comfort, whereas there's a whole market out there that says, oh, this is therapeutic massage, this isn't, things like that. It's all therapeutic massage. Basically, all massage is therapeutic, and you're always trying to make somebody better. I always want you to sleep better, be more relaxed, have your shoulders a little bit looser, have your blood flow going a little bit better. I'm always, even when you come into me and say, nothing's bothering me, I'm looking for stuff to make better because I want you to feel better, right? There's still general stuff. So, but palliative care is when we're not doing that. There are some times, by the way, when you'll provide palliative care for people that you provide therapeutic care for all the time. And I'll give you an example. And this will happen to you. I've had clients walk in and they'll be like, they're kind of teary-eyed that day. These are regular clients, right? I've seen them every week. We're working on some kind of problem, low back problem or something. And they'll say, you know, I just had a death in the family. That is a very palliative care kind of situation that day. They probably don't want me digging in deep on their back, but they chose to come in for their massage still. They chose to. They could have easily canceled. This is an emotional palliative care kind of day, right? So that will happen too. That's a very common thing. You're going to be, you know, many people's best friend while in the treatment room, and you'll be surprised many people will come to you during family crises still and still get their massage because it's the happy thing in their life, even when they're struggling with stuff. So those are moments where you provide intermittent palliative care to somebody, if that makes sense. And that happens all the time. I love how they threw in recreational purposes here too. I guess that's when you go to a spa. It's still therapeutic work. I worked at a spa, and people think that spa massages are different than doctor's office massages and things like that, and essentially they're not. The really good therapists, the ones that made really good money at our spa, were still providing therapeutic value because everybody wants to get off the table and be like, wow, wow, I didn't know my shoulders could move like that. Woo, oh, spring in my step. Thanks, thanks. It's not, spa massages are not this light kind of little fluffy thing. They're just not. There's really very little market for that. Okay. Questions on that? Thoughts? Anything? No? You're good, Miss Trotter? She's like, I'm good. Yeah. Good. Good body language, by the way. I like that. Okay. Somebody you should all know. Now, I don't go meet because this person's dead. But Per Henrik Ling is considered to be the father of Swedish massage. And it's just a good guy to know so that you know, like, the father of Swedish massage. He is supposed to be the inventor of Swedish massage. I keep saying supposed to because if you really study the history, there's some question about that and about how much influence other people had on that. But it's one of those things where if somebody said who's the father of Swedish massage, who invented it, you'd say Per Henrik Ling. He had some help with this stuff too. He did a lot of kind of gymnastic type stuff, and so they kind of turned that into some massage, and he's touted with kind of systematizing what we think of as Swedish massage. And when I talk about Swedish massage, I am in general talking about Western massage. There is essentially, and by the way, I am sorry if I insult any people from the East here that are in our class, because I am horribly generalizing. But there is Western massage and there is Eastern massage. And in general, Western massage and Eastern massage look very different. You all will use techniques from both because they're both amazing. And by the way, Western massage has been around about 100 years and Eastern massage has been around 5, 6, 7,000 years. So they probably know what they're doing. But anyway, the point is Western massage tends to be the stuff you guys have been learning, these strokes with oil. Again, oversimplifying a little bit, but strokes with oil. When I see somebody doing strokes with oil, probably, not always, but probably doing Western massage. Eastern massage is more likely to be done without oil, more likely to be pressure points. More likely to. I'm just giving you a general overview. Per Henrik Ling invented this Western side of massage, this what we call European massage, what most people think of in our country as massage. Most people think of this stuff, right, as massage. And even the stuff like the karate chops is part of Swedish massage too, to Popman. And we'll talk about that too. Anyway, he is, by the way, not the one who named the movements. Somebody else came along later and gave the movements of effleurage and Popman and things like that you guys are starting to learn about the strokes in French, because Per Henrik Ling was not French. He was Swedish. Okay. And by the way, why do we teach you Swedish massage? Because it is a great basis for massage. I still use Swedish as the basis to everything I do, and I am a deep tissue psychopath. Like, I am a deep tissue structural massage therapist all day. If you lay down on my table, I'm going to probably grab a chair and start using that to kind of soften you up with. But I still use Swedish strokes as the basis of everything I do because they're beautiful and they blend through all my deep work. So as I'm plowing through your back, I'm actually just applying extremely deep Swedish moves to you, right? So Swedish massage is a great massage to learn as your core massage. I think it's really one of the greatest, actually. Let's see. Okay, let's talk about massage techniques and terminology. I want to be very clear. These are Swedish terminology. And I also want to be very clear about something else. So, about 20 years ago or something, I was sitting down in a continuing ed class. I don't even remember the exact situation, but I remember what happened afterwards because the teacher put my smart ass in place. The teacher was saying something. I don't remember what. They were teaching about a new move. And you did this thing to do this move. And I'll be very honest with you, I'm not proud of this, okay? But I think I wanted to show off how much I knew. And so at the time I said, well, isn't this just like blah, 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 blah? Because I wanted to make sure everybody in the room knew how amazing I am, which is a sure way to not show everybody in the room how amazing you are. But anyway, I insecurely did that. And the teacher turned me very nicely, very non-judgmentally, but he said something very profound to me. He said, well, Mike, there's only so many ways to rub a body. It is sort of like this other thing. And so I'm telling you this story because there are only so many ways to rub a body. I mean, you'll come up with your completely unique style, but my point is you can press it, you can pull it, you can bop it, you can twist it, you can stretch it. But so I'm going to tell you about Topotmans and things like that. We're going to call them Swedish massage. And later, we'll be learning some Eastern massage. You'll be like, well, hey, they do that there too. Of course they do. There's only so many ways to rub a body. So I'm telling you all this to tell you, I'm not suggesting that Per Henrik Ling completely invented karate chopping somebody's back. But he systematized it and he put it down, and so people at least associate that in Swedish massage with him. But we will learn other stuff that people have been doing that's very similar too, okay? There's only so many ways to rub a body. Okay. All right. Who can tell me, it does not need to be a textbook definition. I do not care. Does anybody know what effleurage is? Effleurage.
That's the gliding movements.
Right. And I like what she said, gliding movements. It's strokes. It's strokes. It's gliding strokes in massage. I mean, I think basically you kind of have to do it with oil. I don't know if that's part of the definition, but the fact is you don't glide very well without oil. So effleurage is any time you're gliding. You could be gliding with your hands, usually you are, but you could be gliding with your fists. You could be gliding with your feet if you were really good. That's effleurage. Yes. What is petrissage? Anybody? Oh, somebody just did it. Miss Rotson. Hold on one second. Miss Rotson just did it with her hands. What is it? What'd you just do?
That's my favorite one. It's like kneading dough.
Bam. Done. It is like kneading dough. It is the concept of actually picking tissue up and kind of placing it into this hand and picking tissue up and kind of kneading dough and actually trying to keep the tissue up off the body. Yeah. And it's your favorite one? Why?
It feels the best.
So it's your favorite one to have done to you?
Yeah, I think that's probably why I use it the most.
So she just said something I really like. I don't know if petrissage is my favorite or not. That's not what I really like. What I really like that I want you to all remember is she said, I really like it, so I do it. I can't figure out why, if somebody in class is doing, massage is the place where it is a compliment and you're supposed to steal. When somebody does something to you you like, steal it. And don't give them any credit. Take it. You can't really steal anything for one thing. You're going to make it your own anyway. But if you're like, oh man, I really like it when they rub my ears, then you should be rubbing everybody's ears. It's highly likely they like it too. If you like petrissage, you should be doing petrissage on everybody. Strangers walking down the street, just petrissage, okay? So please steal, steal, steal. Yes, Mr. Watson, thank you. Petrissage means kneading, right? So, where was I? So, Mr. Placencia, what do we have so far? What's effleurage?
Effleurage is like a long gliding stroke,
Yeah, and what's petrissage?
and petrissage is like a kneading movement.
Kneading. Cool. Yeah. All right. Cool, cool, cool. So effleurage is almost like rolling the dough out, and petrissage is almost like kneading the dough back again to get it fluffy. I don't know. I was stretching that analogy a little bit. No pun intended. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who can tell me what friction is? Anybody? No. Friction?
The process of one part moving against another.
Yeah. Well, that was really good, actually, Ms. Brown, because I was sitting there thinking, like, I'm not sure how to describe it. I'd be like, it's friction. It is the process of one part moving against another, not with it, right?
Right.
We are trying to create something with friction. Usually what we're trying to create is heat and blood flow, right? Friction, by the way, is technically known as an irritating movement. And it's not necessarily irritating right away, but it is the type of movement, right, that after a while, you're going to be like, nah, okay, that was enough. Like, I get it. All right, okay, stop, enough. All right, right? Whereas effleurage, it tends to not have that effect. We use friction in some advanced massage. We don't use it that much in Swedish massage, although we will use it to warm up a back or something really quickly. You know? You guys do it all the time when you're cold. Right? We use it in some advanced massage in something we call cross-fiber friction. So if fibers are running this way, we actually rub them this way. And that is very unusual in massage. Usually in massage, we're trying to go with fibers because it's more pleasant to go with fibers. In cross-fiber friction, I'm actually plucking across your fibers, which is very irritating. And I'm doing it on purpose. It's to actually re-irritate them and re-injure them so that I can realign scar tissue. So cross-fiber friction outside of Swedish massage is sometimes used in advanced scar therapy, scar tissue repair. And you're actually trying to re-irritate the scar and get the fibers to realign better. So you kind of rub a cross friction and then you do effleurage with it. And you do it over and over again over time to try to get the scar to soften. And you actually have to re-injure it to do that. It's one of the few times that we're really trying to re-injure something in massage. Usually we're not like let's re-injure the scar. We'll make it better. But in cross-fiber friction, that's pretty much what you're trying to do. Cool. Compression. What's compression? Oh, Ms. Sarno? You kind of did something. You showed me.
Like a pushing on the muscle.
That's actually a really good definition. Like a pushing. Yeah. Compressing, pushing. I couldn't say it better myself. Yeah. So by the way, we think of stuff like our hand as compressing, right? But that's compression, that's compression. In a way, a pressure point is just compression with a tiny thing, right? Compression usually is bigger. But the fact is they're pressing in. Yeah, a pressing. Thank you, Ms. Sarno. Well said. Well said. And again, why are we compressing usually? Because it's fun?
To release tension in the muscles.
To what? Say it one more
To
time.
release tension in the muscles.
I'm sorry, it's just the sound quality. Say it one more time.
To release tension in the muscles.
Yes, to release tension in the muscle, but what's happening when we press into muscle tissue?
Stretching.
Stretching is one thing for sure. Are we pumping anything out of the muscle?
Blood.
Blood. But I thought we wanted blood in the muscle.
Gotta push
Pumping
it out.
out the oxygen or something out of, yeah, one of those gases.
Yeah. So, very well said, sir. But Ms. Brown, excellent. You're absolutely right. You got to pump it out to get it back in. Yes. Yeah. Good. Compression. Okay. Anybody know what tapotement is? Yep, I'm seeing it. So what did you just do, Ms. Hawks?
It's like a repetitive movement, so like the karate chop tapping.
I love what you said, repetitive. You're right. It's repetitive striking. So, by the way, the key to making tapotement not feel like striking is having loose hands. Strangely enough, once I lock in my hands like this, it feels like beating. But if they're loose and I hit you like this, it's very effective. No matter how I'm doing it. It can be my fingers as long as they're loose. But it's repetitive striking. Yeah. It is my least favorite technique, by the way. And I have a bias against it. And that does not mean you should have a bias against it. But I feel like there's some things I don't like about it. I feel like it's a great technique, by the way, at the end of your hour to wake the client up. And by the way, I do use it. With all that said, where I just said it's my least favorite thing, I do use it. I'll sometimes sit on somebody's back, somebody's shoulders, things like that. And I think it helps jostle things free and things like that. But I'm just not a big believer that I'm going to strike you to a better, looser body, right? I think at some point it's just a bit much. So I think it's great at warming an area up. I think it's great at a quick wake up, like, okay, your massage is over. But I feel like massage is my personal bias. So feel free to do what you want, but be careful. That's what I'm saying. Once there's been 2 minutes of deportment done, I'm like, okay, that's enough. Like, it was cute at first, the first 45 seconds. And then a minute and 15 seconds, it wasn't so cute. And now it's just, can we get back to rubbing? Most people want to be rubbed. So that's my little 2 cents about deportment. I also think the body starts to react after a while that it's being struck. And I don't know that it really helps loosen stuff out. Tissue tends to respond to long, slow stimulus. Think about when you stretch. Do I stretch by... Okay, I'm all stretched out. I don't know, maybe we should ask our yoga expert. Is that how yoga classes work? It's like, downward dog, up, downward. Right? Because if I do it faster, it's better, right?
I mean, if you're doing some Kundalini yoga,
yeah,
you can get into the flow to do that. Yeah, but yeah, no, not usually.
Because tissue requires time to stretch. And what we find out actually is that you guys have things that stop you from stretching when you stretch that fast. You've got stretch response receptors that we will learn about later, called your Golgi tendon complex and your muscle spindles that stop you from stretching when you go that far. And we actually want tissue to allow us in. And I find that deportment's a little too quick and can stop that. So anyway, sorry, that's my little treatise on deportment. And then there is vibration. What's vibration?
Shaking.
Shaking. Shake it up, baby, now. Do, do, do. Twist and shout. Yeah, it is. And we use it in 2 different ways. Actually, somebody probably uses it 15 different ways, but there's 2 I can think of. One is that I'm literally trying to shake, your skin kind of gets stuck to the skin underneath, and so this would be a very typical thing to do, to shake it a little bit. But the other thing that we sometimes do, and you'll see really good therapists do sometimes, is they kind of jostle people while they're working them. Sometimes if I grab your arm, you'll notice me wiggling it a little bit. I'm not shaking it to loosen up, I'm shaking it to keep you from tightening it up. Because if you don't know where your arm's going, it's very hard for you to control it. If I lift your arm straight up, you tend to help me lift it straight up. Right? And I say, hey, you're holding your arm. You go, I'm not holding my arm. Okay, but you are. And so if I kind of carry it along while I'm massaging it, it tends to make you kind of relax. So there are times that you might want to use vibration. Cool. Questions? Thoughts? Yeah. So here's something kind of cool. People are still inventing massages today. And I don't mean people like once in a blue moon. I mean, people come up with new stuff all the time for a massage. Now, they're essentially the same strokes and things like that, but they come up with clever new techniques that actually really work. They come up with new techniques for stretching. They come up with new techniques for working with people. They come up with stuff like that all the time. It is highly likely that each of you will invent a move. I mean, a bona fide move that's a good one. Something I've never thought of. Highly likely, especially if you're screwing around. Because that's the key. You have to be like, I don't know, let's stick our finger in here and pull it back like this and rip his ear over like that. And you will. You'll come up with something that is really effective. You'll be surprised. And it'll just work very well for some particular part of the body, or maybe lots of parts of the body, by the way. A lot of moves can be applied to lots of things. So don't discount that. Don't think that really I'm going to teach you massage. Because my students on the call right now will tell you I haven't taught them anything. So you will invent moves yourself, and you might even come up with entire new ways of therapy. It's not that far-fetched. You're in a field that, even though it's been around for thousands of years, people are still coming up with really clever stuff, and they're still discovering stuff about the human body. There's very little known about it. There's very little known about it. So this is a very exciting endeavor you're starting on. I'm saying some of you will invent moves while you're here in class with us. I will get to see it. And I'll be like, wow! And you'll be like, I know! And I'll be like, wow! It will happen. So you're in a very exciting time where you get to really play and figure stuff out with the human body. Yeah. Okay. Just thought you should know. It's kind of amazing. Pressure. I probably already mentioned this. There is only one thing to know about pressure. Actually, there's many things to know about pressure. But there's one thing that I want you to know about pressure. When you are working on somebody, after you've worked on them for about 3 minutes, I want you to ask them one question. What question is that I want you to ask them?
How's the pressure?
Very respectfully, no. And here's why, Ms. Brown. If you ask how's the pressure, it's like asking somebody on a first date, how's the date? How's the date going?
Yeah, that's a no-no.
Yeah, it's a no-no. Right? And even if they tell you great, it doesn't tell you what to keep doing. And even if they tell you it's going terrible, you're like, okay. Like it doesn't. And people are shy. And remember, the person you're asking is naked under a sheet with you, and they've never met you before. How honest are they going to be?
Probably not very honest.
No, they won't be. So what do I want you to ask them that is up on this slide right now, everybody?
Do you want more or less pressure?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you want more or less pressure? Now, does that force you to answer? I have to say more or less. Now, I have had people be like, no, it's perfect. But usually when people say, no, it's perfect, they really mean it's perfect. Like, perfect's a very strong word to use. But you don't ever want to hear somebody say the pressure's okay. Do you guys pay $100 for an okay meal? Yeah. Would you pay $4,000 for an okay massage class? I hope not. Hope you wouldn't pay $14,000 for an okay massage class. Some people do. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Nobody pays $100, $150 an hour. Nobody tips 20, 40 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks. I've had it happen for an okay massage. And guess what? Pressure is to massage like spice is to a dish. If you have no tolerance for spice, that's completely okay. But if I can make the best dish in the world, and if it's too spicy for you, I've ruined the dish. If you were going for spicy food and it's really bland, it could be well cooked, but it's kind of ruined too. It is the #1 most important thing to get it right in your massage. And I know I'm going to run this in the ground, but I'm going to. So at the Princess, we used to give surveys. I was the manager there at the spa. And you have to understand, on a busy day, we do 300 massages. That's one day. So I don't know what that works out to at the end of the year, but it's hundreds of thousands of massages, right? So I oversaw, I've done 15,000 massages myself, but I've overseen, I don't know, I don't think it'd be exaggerating to say 1 million, 2 million, something like that. And we would do surveys with clients to find out, like, what do they really want from their massage? What are they not telling their therapist, right? The #1 unspoken complaint in massage was a pressure issue. It wasn't like I didn't like my therapist's personality. That's very important, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't that I didn't like the technique that they used on my back. There was too little oil. There wasn't enough oil. The music. Usually it wasn't enough pressure, but it was always a pressure issue. And we went back to these clients and even said, why didn't you say something? I didn't want to hurt their feelings. Did they rebook with them? No. Have you ever been to a restaurant and had a bad experience? Did you complain or did you just not go back? Yeah, I mean, I have complained before, but usually I just don't go back. Like, especially if it's with the food, what am I going to do? Tell them how to cook it? Like that doesn't make sense. You know? And I've had those massages before. I'm like, oh, it was nice. No, I'm not going to rebook now. Thanks a lot. No, it was really good. The person's really nice, but like, you know. So people will not tell you. I have heard this 1,000 times. Oh, they really liked it. They fell asleep. Really? What else in life is falling asleep a sign that somebody really enjoyed something? But it's a massage. It's supposed to be relaxing. No. I really want you to think about this. This is probably the most important thing I will ever tell you guys. If I really wanted to relax, I've got a bottle of wine at home and a very deep bathtub, and I don't need to spend $150. I want to feel relaxed after you're done with me. And I know this because I've asked clients. They come in and they say, I go, what do you want to do today? Usually they have a complaint, right? Usually. But sometimes they're like, oh, I just want a relaxation massage. Okay, so, and I've asked them, do you just want to just relax for this hour, or are you telling me that you don't feel relaxed right now and you want to feel relaxed for a week afterwards? And they stop for a second, they go, oh yeah, that's what I mean. I go, so you don't mind if there's some discomfort in the massage, you want to feel better afterwards? Well, yeah. That's what they meant by relaxation. Now, I don't mean they meant they want to be beat up. I realize that person is telling me, like, don't go to town on me. But they don't want me to do this for an hour. To be honest with you, actually, people that want that go get facials. If you want a very light experience, that's wonderful, by the way. I'm all about the facials. You go get a facial. But when you want to feel better for a week afterwards, you get a massage, and guess what gives you the highest potential of feeling better a week afterwards is getting the pressure right. I want to be at your pressure tolerance the entire time. The only way to ensure that is to ask, do you want more or less pressure? Now, even though I've spent this time telling you this, half of you a year from now will not ask that. I don't know why. But I can tell you from my experience, from 10,000 surveys, from 15,000 massages, it is the #1 issue. People won't talk about it. And if you ask somebody if it's okay, they'll always tell you it's okay. It's always okay. I've never asked somebody if the pressure's okay and had them not say it's okay. Of course it's okay, right? Does this piece of paper taste okay? Yeah, it tastes okay. Yeah. Does this feel okay? Yeah, it feels okay. I mean, I wouldn't pay for it again, but it feels okay. Do you want more or less pressure? And then, if they say more, you give them more, and then you say, do you want more or less pressure? And then, if they say, no, it's perfect, you say, cool, then you try to stay there the whole time. It's tricky, but you try to stay there the whole time. So at least you're in the ballpark. Or if it's less, by the way, there's been times where I'm like going to town, and do you want more or less pressure? I want way less. Oh, okay. Whew, I don't have to work so hard. Sorry. You want more or less pressure? No, that's perfect. Good. Okay, cool. And even if they say, no, it's okay. I've had people trying to get around my question. Do you want more or less pressure? No, it's okay. I go, okay is not acceptable for your time. I want it to be amazing. Can you please tell me if you want more or less pressure? And then you watch this look of relief on their face like, oh my God, you really care? I'm like, I really care. Like, I really care. Like, guys, it would break my heart if I taught an okay class for you. I don't want to be an okay teacher. I want you to have an okay experience. You know? I don't want to do an okay massage. All right. Questions? Thank you for listening to me just nail that in the ground, but I can't tell you. Like, you could do every technique right, and if the pressure's wrong, you wasted it. Yeah. Don't. Get the pressure right. Okay. Let's see. Oh, geez, I hate all this stuff. Okay, so your book wants to define stuff that you will never need to know as a massage therapist. I've underlined some of that here if you want to take a quick note, because some of this will be on your test tonight, even though I think it's completely unimportant. I will tell you that out there in the real world, certain massage therapists have a big opinion about the direction you rub a body and about how you work around the body. And they have legitimate reasons for feeling this way. Like I said, there's lots of gray area in this class. So you just have to have a good reason for why you're doing something, because later you might find a better reason for doing it an opposite way, right? Let me give you an example what I mean here. So we spent a lot of time with gratitude at the beginning of this class. You could make a very legitimate argument that that is time wasted away from learning, right? It's okay to nod. I mean, we spend, what, 15, 20 minutes just being like, what are you grateful for today, right? And you could argue that's time taken away from learning. What I have found is that the time that it puts into the proper mindset and class cohesion gives us more time back to learning, right? Because if the class is going well, we all get along better, we support each other, and we learn faster, so I found that investment is better. But both arguments are legitimate. And so what you want to do is know why you're doing a particular massage move for a particular reason. So if somebody comes up with a better reason, you can be like, well, I used to do it for this reason, and that was valid, but this is even more valid, and that's why I'm going to do it. So this is kind of along those lines. Some people, for example, say you should always massage towards the heart. That's not a crazy idea. Remember, I want to get the blood flowing, right? And later when we learn about the heart, we're going to find out that most of your blood pressure is pushing blood away from the heart. When it's coming back to the heart, it's under lower pressure. And so they want to help that process along, and that is valid. However, for me personally, there's a lot of other reasons that override that reason. Yes, if nothing else matters to me and I'm just working on something, I would rub towards your heart. The problem is, if I'm only rubbing towards your heart, I don't get a backstroke. And that's 50% of my massage gone. And that means this guy is doing 30 minutes of work in an hour, and I'm doing 60 minutes of work in an hour. And for me, that extra 30 minutes is worth doing the backstroke. So that's just my logic. That's just an example. So if somebody's like, I only massage towards the heart, don't laugh at them. That's totally legitimate. Like, I get it. It's just, I'm like, well, I think it's a little bit more important to get some stuff on my backstroke there. That's one example. Some people believe you should only work a certain direction around the body and kind of work your way around it. That's not me. I tend to be like, we worked on this arm, let's work on the other arm. Or this leg happens to be close by, let's grab it. But that's just me. But that's where directions come up. I just want to explain to you in case you get in a discussion with somebody about it. And my way is not the right way. It's just a way. It's just a way. Who raised their hand? Yes, Miss Suriel.
I got a question.
One
time, one massage therapist told me that I don't exactly remember if it's. So I was asking about the massage, and that person told me that you have to massage the muscle from the where the muscle is origin to insertion. I just don't remember exactly. But when he told me that, I thought, oh my God, it seems like massage is so complicated.
Yeah.
Because how am I gonna know where every single muscle is gonna be inserted? And so I'm a little scared, because after that he said, if you don't do it this way, you can hurt the person. And I'm a little like, is it true or not?
Okay. All right, so two things. One is we're going to spend almost the entire class learning about origins and insertions of muscles, which is really where your muscles attach in your body, right? Your muscles all have two attachments on one end, and what they call one end an origin, one end the insertion. I don't care which is which, but they attach to two areas. And like my biceps, right? My biceps, they hook down in here, and they hook up here, and when they contract, they pull things together. This is the insertion, this is the attachment, but the origin. And what this therapist is saying is it's very important to rub from the insertion to the origin, or the origin to the insertion. That part is true, by the way. It is very good, because a lot of therapists only rub the belly and they don't get the whole muscle. And so teaching them origin to insertion, insertion to origin is very helpful, because they get the whole muscle. That's the true part of what they said. But here is the good news, Ms. Suriel, so you don't have to worry. This is not dangerous at all. You cannot rub the origin insertions all day long. I don't think your massage will be as good, but you won't hurt anybody.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll tell you one more reassuring thing. Human body gives really, really good feedback about what's dangerous, meaning you all have built-in things where you're like that just doesn't work for me, right? And so as long as you're not going too fast, it's almost impossible to hurt a human being. Let me give you an example. This is not going to hurt anybody. Even if I did it in your nose, it's too slow. And eventually you go, ow, please stop doing that. And I'd go, okay, I guess that's not a good move. That done really fast is called karate. So the same moves that you use in karate or in boxing or whatever are the same moves you use in massage. The only difference is speed. And the fact is, if I do something really stupid in massage, but it's slow, eventually somebody says, I don't think your fingers should be there, but I still haven't done any damage. Honestly, if you're trying out a new move and you're not sure, just do it slow. I really mean that, by the way. Go in their throat. That's not a good idea, but you're not going to kill them. Okay, I don't think that's a good move. Okay, I'll stop. Fast, that's a problem. So you can do, I can't even think of an exception. You can do anything you want to anybody slowly. And stop when they tell you to stop. I can't think of one time that's going to be a problem. You can bend my elbow back. You shouldn't go. And eventually I'm going to be like, okay, I don't think that feels good. Okay, we'll stop. No damage done. If you do it fast, that's something else. So don't worry. You got nothing to worry about. But origin insertions? Yeah, we're going to talk about that later. That's good stuff. Good question. Okay, so there's a Tapscott thing down here that says LSD. No, we're not going back to the 60s. Yeah. Long, slow distance. So one of the things that I do believe that makes your massage better is anytime you can make a stroke longer, slower, more distant. LSD. We call it long, slow distance. Runners talk about this too when they're training for marathons. They try to go long, slow distance. So sometimes your runners use LSD. The term. I don't think a lot of runners are using LSD. But anyway, long, slow distance. And here's what I mean by that. Instead of just rubbing here, it would be better if I kept rubbing all the way up and all the way down. The longer the stroke, the better in general. You want to be going all the way up. And the reason I say that is, believe it or not, a lot of massage therapists like they're rubbing down somebody's back, and long before they get to the low back, they kind of stop. Well, why? Keep going, right? The longer, the slower, the better. Slow because it gives tissue time to change. Longer because you're getting the whole muscle. LSD. Long, slow distance. Are there times to violate that? Sure. Are there times I go really fast doing something? Sure. But in general, long, slow distance. Cool. Rate and rhythm are things you will never use, never talk about. I don't mean, by the way, you won't use your rate or your rhythm in massage won't matter. What I meant was you're never going to go work for Massage Envy and they're going to go, so what is your rate and rhythm? I've never once heard a massage therapist use these terms before in my life. But anyway, rhythm is patterns regularly applied. And it is true that slow techniques tend to be more calming and relaxing, and quick techniques tend to be more stimulating, which is why you would use tapotement at the end of your massage to wake somebody up, right? It's stimulating. If I'm trying to calm you down, I would start slowing down my cadence. But if I'm trying to keep you guys awake through my lecture, then I'm going to have a little bit of a quicker cadence. Yeah? Cool, cool, cool. Let's ask this question. Forget about this stuff up here. So I've already talked about this, but let's talk about it some more. Why is a massage an hour long? Anybody? Why is a massage 60 minutes long? Yes, Ms. Suriel, please.
I think because there is really not enough time to do the entire body unless someone just wants you to focus
I like
And one part, like in the
Yeah.
mall, when you go, they just give you 30 minutes in the back. But
like that.
what I know that I can, for what the time I practice, we all run short. In 1 hour, we're like, oh, we didn't finish.
By the way, Ms. Uriel, that's music to my ears. I personally feel the best massage therapists in the world don't seem to get stuff finished. I really mean that. Like, I'd rather you be like, I've got more stuff I want to do. Like, I need more time. More time. That's the sign of a good therapist, actually. I mean, you have to learn to manage that problem, but it's a good problem to have. So you're saying because you need an hour to get through a body. That's why it's an hour long. Yeah, I like that. But so why not 68 minutes? Why not 72? Why not 89?
I have another answer.
Yes, Mr. Tate, please.
Okay, so as a personal trainer, we learned that the body goes into two different states when it's working out. So like if you're working, if you're trying to do like quick bursts of exercises to build muscle mass,
Yeah.
you do an anaerobic. It's like called an anaerobic exercise or aerobic exercise. Anaerobic exercise, and that's short and that's like 30 minutes. But if you're doing anaerobic, where you're getting long lean muscles, that's like an hour long. And you have to work more than 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So does that have something to do with that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, by the way, I love your answer, and I 100% completely agree with you about the physical aspect of it. Anaerobic exercise, by definition, is without oxygen, and it is sprinting types of work, right? Maybe sprinting with free weights, but it's sprinting types of work. Whereas aerobic exercise, by definition, is a long, slow duration, right? So you've got to do it long and slow. Otherwise, it's not aerobic, so to speak. Yes, but why? I don't know if it quite answers yes, Miss Brown.
Is it because an hour is typically most convenient for a person's schedule?
So you're implying that we took the human body and made it fit into an hour, essentially, huh? Kind of like they make me fit into an 8-hour day and you fit into an 8-hour day and they make other stuff. Interesting. So you're telling me it's essentially arbitrary that if I lived on a different planet where the hours were longer, I'd get a longer massage.
Basically, yeah.
I 100% agree with you. It's for booking purposes. It fits there. I personally think everybody should get at least a 2-hour massage, and that's not because I'm trying to sell more massage. I can't get through your body in an hour. I mean, you'll think I did. I could spend an hour on your feet, an hour on your back, hour on your legs and hips. By the way, not without being very repetitive. I've done 4-hour massages on a regular basis. Yep, I used to have a Coyotes hockey player, best client I've ever had, and he did the coolest thing ever. I haven't told you guys this yet. So he did the coolest thing ever. He realized that the hour thing was baloney, and he loved massage. I loved him. And I would go to his house, and this is like 20 years ago. A great guy. And he really believed in massage, and he said, I want you to just stop when you want to stop. And when we got to something like his feet, and he's like, I love that, we'd just throw an extra half hour in there. I'd get to his legs, throw an extra half hour in there. Anything he liked, we just kept doing. I wasn't trying to run the thing up. And then I would literally, when I was done, exhausted by the way, but done, I'd look up at the clock and I'd be like, oh, 4 hours and 15 minutes. Let's call it 4 hours. And he, by the way, paid me $100 an hour. He'd write out a check for $450, throw me a $50 tip, right? And that was my day. Best thing ever. But, and there were days, by the way, there were many days we did 4-hour massages. That's not an exaggeration. But there were some days it was only 2.5, 2 hours, 45 minutes, things like that. And it was great. I was never trying to extend the time for him or shorten it. So I just want you guys to remember this when somebody says, when they look at you like incredulously, like why should I do a 2-hour? Like, why shouldn't you? There is absolutely no reason, assuming you're a basically healthy individual. I guess if you're 116 and your skin's really thin and you don't deal with that kind of stuff very well. But in general, an hour is not enough time to get through a body. Miss Suriel's right. Like, it's not enough time. We need more time. Miss Brown, you're right. It's a booking thing, which is why you see a lot of places that book 50-minute massages, which you think doing a body in an hour is hard. 50 minutes is tough. I may be a very good therapist learning to do 50-minute massages because you got to really decide what's important and you got to get a lot done really quick, really quick. But they book 50-minute massages because they book nicely in the hour. You could flip the room really quick, and then you do another one. You do a massage every hour. So really, really, I would encourage people longer massages, always. Some other thoughts for you guys, too, about massage length. Some people go, well, how do you get, but you don't get the rest in between. You don't get rest in between anyway. Like 10 or 15 minutes in between something is not really rest, right? It doesn't really help you. And it's kind of like the hockey player. I'd rather get it done and walk out with a big check and be done. So that's one thing. You know, the rest doesn't help. But also the rest comes out of your time. So if I do, it takes me 5 hours to do 4 hours of massage because there's 15 minutes between every hour. It'd be better for me just to do 4 hours of massage and leave an hour early with the same amount of money in my hand. Secondly, it takes me half the laundry to do a 2-hour massage than it does to do 2 1-hour massages. That's my laundry. Thirdly, I've already got you on the table. We've already greeted each other. We've already become accustomed. We're already in the date. And by the way, I don't mean to imply that massage is anything like dating. But my point is we're in this relationship that has to occur kind of quickly. We're already there. Like, why not stay in for an extra hour? Fourthly, and this one's huge, people can't divide up the time in their mind and compare you to another therapist. So let me give you an example. If Miss Estes does a 2-hour massage on you, and I do a 1-hour massage on you, very likely you're going to like her 2-hour massage better. She definitely had twice the time to get it right. And even though you're going to walk away and be like, well, Tapscott only gave me an hour and Miss Estes gave me 2 hours, you still, it's very hard to be like, you're still going to walk away thinking she's better. Just like if I gave you a 7-course meal and the other place gave you a 2-course meal, you'd be like, I like those 2 courses, but the 7-course meal. So even though you paid more for her massage too, you're going to think she's a better therapist. You always want to get as much time with your client as possible. If they'll give you an extra hour, take it. They'll give you, yes. So I bring that up because people, always ask how long is a good massage. Essentially, it's as long as the person wants to be on the table. Who here likes to have their feet rubbed? Okay, good. So, Miss Allure, how long would it bother you if I rubbed your feet for an hour while you're laying there right now?
Not at all.
Now, Miss Allure, what about 2 hours while you're watching a movie?
Oh, I would love it.
2 hours. That's her feet, everybody. 2 hours. I know because I do this with my girlfriend all the time. I rub her feet through a whole 2-hour movie, and I could keep going. She wouldn't mind at all. We could watch a whole nother movie, right? She never goes, oh, it's getting kind of old. No. And then, by the way, that's her feet. That's Miss Allure's feet, right? We've got her calves next, remember? And her thighs. And that hasn't even gotten up to her waist yet. We just got up to her thighs, right? So you can do a very long time on somebody effectively and make them happy. You know what I mean? So yes, don't discount that. Okay, so how often should you get a massage? Because that's a big question that comes up too. Clients go, how often should I get a massage? Yes, Ms. McDowell, please enlighten me.
I think it kind of depends on personal preference. Like maybe if you're suffering from a lot of pain, you want to go like once a week or maybe a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're expensive too. So I mean, it's money too. So if you can't afford it but you like it, probably only once a month.
Yeah. I love what you said about it depends on personal preference because, right, it really is ultimately up to the client. I hear so many therapists like, this is what you should do. I'm not the boss. The person who's paying is my boss for that hour or 2 hours or whatever. Yeah. So I love that. And she mentioned money. And that's the answer I give clients. They go, how often should I come for a massage? I go, as often as you can afford it. Could you get 3 massages a week? Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I hope so because you guys are getting 4 massages a week right now. And you look like you're fine to me, right? You guys are getting, Miss Alora's getting 4 massages a week and she still wants me to rub her feet for 2 hours. Right? She's not even maxed out yet. She's like, more. So, you really can get, here's the only rule. And I think Mr. Tate will appreciate this. It's kind of like the personal training rule. We don't rub anything that's sore from the last time we rubbed it. So if I went really deep on your back, because I was loosening up the muscles there, and you came back to me the next day, and so my back's still really sore, I might effleurage it, right, to get blood flow through it, but I wouldn't go deep on your back again, because it's obviously kind of healing from the deep work I did on it to begin with. But I'd just go work on another part of your body. And I've had that happen many times. When I worked at the resort, I'd have people there, they're on vacation and they're rich. And I mean rich. I mean like the kind of rich where they're like, this is the house we stay in this time of the year. But they stay in another house 3 or 4 months the next time of the year, and the third house the other 3 or 4 months of the year. Anyway, they come for massage every day. Did I mention they're rich? Anyway, and they really come every day because they've got nothing else to do. And honestly, many of them I'd work on their upper body for an hour or two one day, their lower body for an hour or two next day, upper body next day, lower body next day, back and forth. Just so I wasn't working in an area that was sore. You can work somebody every day. Bob Hope, I'm looking out and you guys are way too young. Okay, so if you're really old like me, you would know who Bob Hope is, and he got a massage every day of his life. He lived to be like 101. Every day of his life. He was a famous entertainer. His massage therapist traveled with him. Could you get a job like that? Well, a friend of mine did. A friend of mine used to travel with somebody as their personal massage therapist. He got paid $50,000 a year, got to travel all over the world, and I'd often be like, what are you doing right now? And he'd be like, oh, they didn't take me this time with them, so I'm just off right now. I'm off for the next 2 weeks. Still $50,000 a year. Off 2 weeks here and there. Call me from Hawaii, call me from Europe. Yeah, personal massage therapist. You never know who's going to walk through your door, by the way. You never know. Yes, Miss Suriel.
I wrote you a question. I'm sorry for telling you. I just feel that I would like to have an idea about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love your question. How about this? No. I feel like I've asked you all a question. You're allowed to ask me one. Okay. So we decided you should get massaged as often as humanly possible and as much as your wallet will allow. As long as you're not massaging an area that's sore from the last time you massaged it. Yes, Miss Walker, why, please?
What was the exact reason why we do massages for an hour? Because I don't think I was paying attention.
No, it's okay. And by the way, I appreciate your honesty. If you're with me for 3 hours, you're going to kind of float off occasionally, right? Because we book everything on an hour. I mean, like, even your license, why is your license 700 hours? Because somebody lobbied for that. I mean, why isn't it 1,000 hours? Why isn't it 3 hours? Why isn't it 17 years? Like, it's the arbitrary way we cut up stuff. So we tend to, have you guys noticed this? Anybody who's worked in corporate America here, all our meetings are an hour. And for some reason, everybody stretches them to an hour too. Some of my favorite leaders do things like, well, we've covered everything. I'm not going to waste your time anymore. Let's go. Like, we don't need to do that. So anyway, it's just because it makes convenient booking. That's why they're an hour. It's convenient booking. And most places really like to book them 50 minutes because it's even more convenient booking because in the changeover period, they can put one in at 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, like that. If they do truly an hour, then they have to go 9, 10, 15, 11, 30 because they have to have time to change over the room. Yeah. Hey, by the way, so number one complaint was a pressure issue, right? I said number one unspoken complaint. Guess what the number 2 complaint is? Being cut short on time. And you'd be surprised how many therapists do it. I'm not talking about when the client's running late. When the client's running late, you say, oh, Miss Walker, I'm so sorry we're running late today. I'm going to have to shave a few minutes off your time. By the way, we weren't running late. Miss Walker was running late, right? Sorry, I'm just picking on you right now. But I'm so sorry we were running late a little bit because I have a client after you. We're going to have to cut a little bit of time off your thing. And she's like, of course, she knows. But if she's not running late It's people's pet peeve if you shave like 3 minutes off their massage. And I've actually had massage therapists say, it's 3 minutes, Tapscott. Like, what's the big deal? It leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. It's a $100 service, right? So I told that therapist, I said, you're absolutely right. It is, we're nickel and diming. What's 3 minutes? I said, how about we just take $3 off your commission? And they were like, $3? I go, it's $3. You can't even, what can you buy with $3 these days? It's nothing. It's nothing. It was funny. They didn't want to lose the $3. It's interesting. And by the way, this is somebody who gets like a $27 commission. They didn't want to lose the $3. And they get a $20 tip on top of that. This is somebody who makes about $50 an hour. So they're making almost $1 a minute, and they want to give up 3 minutes, but they don't want to give up $3. So anyway, it leaves a bad taste in clients' mouths because they feel like you're being petty with them. But are they going to complain to you? No, I don't want to look like the cheapskate who's complaining that you cut 3 minutes off my massage. It makes me sound like I'm a nitpicky, right? But I might not come back to you. Right? I'm not going to complain about it. It sounds too nitpicky, but I'm not going to come back to you. So what I do when I walk into a room, if you're on time, I put my hand down on your leg and I look up at the clock. And I might take it right to the minute, but I keep rubbing you and my hand does not come off your body until that clock hits 1 hour from there. I give you an hour of hands-on. I believe in true hand, not time while you were changing, not while we were talking. If you're running on time, I give you whatever time you paid for, the full time, every time. Yeah, I don't want to nickel and dime you. And then I charge the hell out of you, right? Give them 60 minutes, charge them $120, but give them 60 minutes. Cool. All right, Mr. Blygen, sorry, took me a second there. Sir, you have your hand raised. Do you have a question, sir? You're a little bit quiet. Could you speak up? Okay. He's like, 1 minute. Sounds like... Here we go.
Is that better?
Yeah, it is better.
Okay, so when you worked at the Princess, did you guys incorporate like intake and a time for somebody to like get on the table before you started the hour, or was it just an hour from the time that they arrived to their appointment to the time that their appointment ended?
Yeah, so it's interesting you say that. All places do it differently. You're absolutely right. At the Princess, we really try to give you a true hour. So, are you still talking, sir, by the way? Because now I can't hear you. Okay, maybe not. So anyway, at the Princess, we gave you a true hour, so we're not counting your intake. And it was more than that, to be honest with you. I wouldn't recommend you necessarily do this in your private business. But at the Princess, we're not just selling you a massage, right? We're selling you the experience of staying at the Princess. And so we don't really want to upset you. So even if you're running late and it's your fault, if we can somehow move your appointment, even at the therapist's expense, even at the Princess's expense, we're going to move it and make sure you get your full appointment. If we can. There are times we cannot. There are times that truly I would be like, hey, we booked all 300 appointments that day. Like, we can't move your appointment. But if we can, we will, because that's 5 diamond service. But you're paying for that. You got to understand, a 1 hour massage of the Princess, I think with tip these days, is like $189 or something outrageous. And you're paying $500 a night for your room. And you're paying. So places like that make some exceptions. But we're still, no, we do not count intake time as massage. And I don't think any place should count intake time as massage. You should at least tell your client, come early to fill out the intake form so I don't have to take it out of your massage. Right? What you're selling should be clear. And if I say hour massage, I mean, I'm thinking hour massage. I'm not thinking intake and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, we gave them true hours is what we call it in the industry. Whereas some places do 50-minute massages, which is fine, but then say it's a 50-minute massage. It's not an hour massage. Those 50-minute massages, there's outside of that, they're saying the intakes will get done and things like that. Did that answer your question, sir? Maybe? Mr. Blygen? Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. I think there's a delay in your video. Sorry, that's why I keep asking you like that. Okay. All right, cool. Moving right along. Okay, so, Miss Suriel asked us a question before break. Do you remember, Miss Suriel? Were you wondering if I remembered?
Yes, I
Yeah.
wanted to raise my hand again
Yeah.
because I think for me, I would like to start. I know it's not good, but I would like to start having that sense of, okay, how much can I take the best, give the client the most experience, because most places are gonna be like that.
This is a brilliant question you're asking. I'm not surprised coming from you, but it's a brilliant question you're asking. I'm going to stop sharing here for a second because I want you to see the whiteboard up here if we can. Maybe we'll zoom in a little bit on it too. Let's come with me, everybody. Boom. Whoa. So let me erase some of this. Muscles can only do one thing. Huh. Interesting. Okay, anyway. You guys are going to find out I'm quite the artist, so be prepared. How do I want to do this? I think... These are not broom handles on the bottom, those are feet. See why I went to massage school and not to art school. Can you see that? I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry for all of you. Okay. And by the way, this is actually also like ribs coming out here. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay. So, Ms. Suriel has asked really an excellent question. It's something that massage therapists really need to think about, and you'd be surprised how many do not. And you can tell they do not from the type of massage they give. And it is also a question that does not have a right answer. Period. But let's go through it together so we are thinking along these lines in the future. Let's pretend it's a 1 hour massage. Because once you kind of know how to spend time on a 1 hour massage, if you had a 2 hour massage, you just double all that time. Right? I mean, that's not a bad way to go. Cool. Okay. All right. We've got about 60 minutes to spend. I would argue that we've got all these areas of the body to work on. We've got feet. We've got, I guess we can put them all together. Legs, that's leg and thigh, or crural and sural and femoral region. We've got your gluteus maximus, medius, and minimus, which is actually pretty significant. The middle of your body here, your hips, so to speak. So don't discount that. We've got your back, right? We've got your shoulders. I think we can all argue shoulders are pretty important. We got neck, too, by the way. We've got arms. We've got hands. How much time should we spend on the back? And I don't really mean the shoulders, I meant the spine down to the glutes, that kind of thing that bugs everybody. I would say, half your clients come in and they go, my back's hurting, right? I'm sure some of you, your back's hurting right now, right? How much time should we spend on that out of that 60 minutes? There's no wrong answer to this. I just want an answer and you to try to justify it in some way. And then I'll laugh at you. No, I'm kidding. Yes. Yes. What?
20 minutes on the back.
Miss Sarno, what'd you say?
20 minutes on the back.
20 minutes on the back. That's not a crazy thing, she said, right? So she's saying, hey, 20 minutes here. It's pretty important. She's saying that's pretty important. Is that a crazy thing that she said? Not at all. Not at all. I would think a lot of people kind of come in a massage. What are people thinking about getting rubbed in a massage? Their back. What?
I got from the back to the shoulder 20 minutes.
Oh, so you're saying shoulders too in the 20 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. So you're gonna do shoulders and back 20 minutes. The whole thing. Okay. Anybody disagree with that? Anybody want to give more time to the shoulders? Anybody think we can do the back and the shoulders in 20 minutes? Is that good? Or should we be doing the back for 20 minutes and another 10 minutes on the shoulders? Or should we do 175 minutes on the left shoulder and 2 minutes on the back? Give me something here. Yes, Miss Brown. Yes.
I think it would depend on Ocean. Oh yeah.
No, you're good. Yeah. I think it would depend on Ocean.
I think it would depend on like when you're going through your initial effleurage technique, the spots that you feel are tight, you want to give a little bit more time to. But the rest of it, I would want to break up fairly evenly. Now there's more than 6, so you can't do 10 minutes for each one, so it'd be like 7 minutes on each one-ish.
Okay. By the way, 2 things. One is, that's right, I should have said in a general massage, right? Obviously, if somebody comes in and says, work my back, like that's the main focus, we're going to change all this. We're talking about general massage. Secondly, she did something kind of neat. She said you got these 6 areas or so, 7 areas, whatever, so we'd give about 7 minutes to each, just as a rule of thumb. Does that mean you're going to run over on some and under on others? Sure. So we're kind of asking, when should we break that rule? So, I'll stick with 20 minutes here. 20, is that what we're doing? 20. Anybody want to argue this at all? Okay, so this person's they're laying face down, which is, what do we call that when you're laying face down?
Prone.
Prone, thank you. So we're laying face down, and we're going to rub their back and their shoulders. 20 minutes. Good. Okay. So that's all part of this. Nobody argued with that. That's this massage. Okay. How much time are we spending on neck? Are we including neck in the 20 minutes too? Neck back here.
Yes, we are including the neck.
Okay. So Mr. Tate says we've got the neck and shoulders and everything in this 20 minutes. Okay. Now I'm seeing some people shake their head. Yeah.
I would say a little bit less in the neck, or maybe the 20 on the neck and maybe like 5 minutes. I'm sorry, 20 on the back and like 5 minutes on the neck.
Oh wait, so you want to add extra time? I'm seeing some people
Yeah.
agree with that. They're saying 20 minutes is not enough time to do back, shoulders, and neck. So you want to?
Excuse me, Mr. Tapstad?
Yeah, please, Mr. Tate, please.
So I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to, but I think 20 minutes might be too much just because we might have to turn them over to the other side, right?
Oh. So you're thinking ahead. You're trying to reserve some time.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Are you going to spend as much on the front side of their body as you do on the back?
Probably not because I don't see people massaging chest that much. Like, what if you're dealing with a female? Like, I think there's
Right.
less
You're right.
to do in the front.
Right. You could be breaking the law, depending on what you're doing. Miss Trotter, what are your
But
thoughts?
there's the pectoral muscles, because you can massage the pectoral muscles if they're okay with it, and that really helps with the shoulders and the neck and all that, though. So, I mean, that's in the front, when you're massaging the front, so if they're okay with it, then you should massage that.
Still waters run deep. Miss Trotter, who told you that the pectoral muscles could have something to do with shoulder tension?
Because of my job. I work at Massage MV, the front desk.
Oh. Miss Trotter's very, very right. And it's actually something overlooked by many, many therapists. Okay. All right. So, by the way, I hope you guys realize I don't know the answer to this question. I'm trying to ask you probing questions. Like, I've got an opinion about some stuff, but I have not, nobody has said a single thing so far where I'm like, oh, that's stupid. No, I don't feel that way at all. All right. But we've got people kind of in 2 different camps here. We got this 20 minutes for the back and shoulders and maybe 5 minutes for here, but Mr. Tate would like to pull back a little bit and save some stuff, which is okay too. How many people want to put the 5 extra minutes on the neck? How many people are like, no, 20 minutes, that's what they're getting. 20 minutes, neck, back, shoulders.
5 on the neck.
Okay. All right, so we're up to 25 minutes. That's cool. All right. Glutes. Glutes and hips. Buns. How much time we spend on buns? 5 minutes on buns? Well, Miss Trotter, okay. Wow, you're kind of a bun person, huh? Just rub away. 5 minutes. By the way, and I don't mean this in a weird way, I would like 50 minutes done on my buns. They're amazing. Your gluteus maximus is the largest muscle in your body. Massage therapists don't think of it as your bottom, by the way. It's your hips to us. It's a very important postural muscle. That's all we care about. And most people will tell you it's one of the favorite places to have rubbed. So I was just giving Miss Trotter a hard time. 5 minutes would be completely minimal. Sure. So 5 minutes on the buns? Yeah. Gluteal region? Anybody against that? Should we just leave it out? Maybe not touch the gluteal region? Yes, Miss Sarno.
Maybe it can be 10 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes on the glutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to massage from Miss Sarno. She gets down in there and she gets yeah. All right, well, let's compromise. I don't really hear Miss Sarno. I think that's great. I'm not against it at all. But I'm kind of hearing 5 minutes. I'm hearing 15 minutes, and I'm hearing nothing from anybody else. So, which way do I go? By the way, everybody, do I go 5 minutes? Who wants 5?
I agree with the 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay.
Just for the buns?
Just for the buns. Yeah.
5.
5. Cool. All right. Miss Sarno, that doesn't make you wrong.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. Doesn't make you wrong at all. Okay. This person's face down. Okay. So we've got 20 kind of on the back and shoulders. We give them 5 up on the neck, and we give them 5 down on the buns. We're doing good. Okay. We're still this person's face down. Let's keep it that way right now. That's how we're able to get to their buns and that her back and their shoulders and even their neck. Although I don't like working neck face down. I'd rather have them flip, but let's not worry about that right now. Okay. You can see their neck when they're face down. Okay. Let's talk about arms, not the hands. Arms. How much time would we spend on arms? Miss Sarno, please. How much time would you spend on arms?
5 minutes on
5 minutes. On both arms? Or 5 and 5 or 5?
5
5 and 5. Okay. She's giving 10 minutes. Are we going 5 and 5, everybody?
Yes.
Yes? I got one yes. Do we have any no's? Any 10 minutes? 45 minutes?
No.
No, Mr. Tate.
I think we should do 3 minutes on each arm.
All right, Mr. Tate is in the 6-minute total camp. Should we go 3 minutes on each arm or 5 minutes on each arm? Who says 3 minutes?
I can agree with the 3 minutes for the arms.
3. How many says 5? 5.
I think that 5 minutes for me work because sometimes what I've experienced is that you want to connect a little bit of the arm with the shoulder, just like a connection that is to don't break the. So I think 5 minutes for me will do, right?
Well, what's beautiful about what you said there, Ms. Surrey, by the way, it's one of the reasons it's so hard to talk about this. We don't really just work an arm, right? If you're a good therapist, you overlap back into the shoulders. And when you work the shoulders, you come down the arms. And that's what Ms. Surrey is talking about. You always tie together stuff with another body part, which is true. But anyway, so you're saying 5 minutes for that reason because you overlap a little bit. But I've heard a lot of 3s. I'm sorry to say I did. So that's 3. That's 3. Hands. Hands. How much time do we spend on the most articulate functioning thing on the body, the thing that separates us from almost every single mammal, the reason you can type, write, pick your nose, clean your ears, some of you are, I can look at you, you're obvious nose pickers, but I don't do that. But the fact is, clean your ears, scratch your head, caress a child, make dinner, these incredible tools that can play, concert pianos, harps, all these things. How much time do we spend on the hands?
I thought the neck were included with the arms. That's why I said 5 minutes.
Oh, neck work was included with the arms?
Yeah, I would say like 3.
For the arms or for the hands?
The hands, yeah.
3 minutes for each hand?
2 minutes for each hand.
Ms. Walker's saying 2 minutes for each hand. I'm getting a nod from Ms. Trotter. Going once, going twice. Yeah. You're not falling asleep, Miss Jung, are you? I think you are. All right, 2 minutes. Boom. Okay. Let's talk about the back side of the legs. Back side of the legs are where the hamstrings are. Remember that? And the calves. How much time do we spend on the back side of the legs?
I would probably say like 10 minutes.
10 minutes on each leg?
Yeah, they work.
I mean, they do work a
For
lot.
the calf and the thigh, for like both.
Oh, okay. So you're saying front, back, the whole darn leg? Or do you mean hamstrings and calves?
Just the backside, just the hamstrings and the calves.
Yep. So the posterior femoral region and the sural region.
Or like 10 for both. Like 5 minutes on each backside.
Ms. McDowell, you're confusing me. Hold on. Mr. Tate.
I don't know. Who knows?
It's fine. It's fun. Mr. Tate, were you going to say something? I heard you chime in for a second.
I was going to say we don't have time for 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, Ms. McDowell was changing her answer. She was saying maybe 10 minutes for the whole backside of both legs. So 5 and 5. How about that? 5, 5. How much time on feet? I mean, now, I don't know how much you weigh. I know how much I weigh. And I know my little bitty size 10 foot carries 230 pounds around. And I know, by the way, that every time you take a step, that weight multiplies because the foot comes striking to the ground. So to your foot, it's like 500-600 pounds. And I know that I take 10,000 steps a day. And I know that it's one of the most articulate portions of my body. And I know it's the foundation of my entire body. And I know you can't have feet problems and have anything else above your feet be right. And I know there's not a single building in the world that has a messed up foundation, but the rest of the building's okay. So how much time do we spend on the feet? Anybody? Mr. Tate. Mr. Tate, how much time do we spend on the feet?
So, I would say 3 minutes each on no, not 3 minutes, but like, I would add it all in together, because we're running out of time.
Well, we're going to have to go back and make some adjustments, I think. Are you saying 3 minutes a foot, sir, or 3 minutes for both feet?
No, I'm saying 2 minutes on each foot.
2 minutes on each foot.
Like
okay.
4 minutes to foot. Yeah.
Okay. And Miss Jung, were you going to say something? Do you have your hand raised? Or Miss Karodi? Miss Karodi? Miss Jung?
Yeah, I say, I feel that have really heavy body, like 200 pounds. The issue feet, at least like 15-20 minutes, because the ankle really sore. The parts really sore, so they need to do more time for there.
Spoken like a Chinese therapist, which I admire. It's true. Feet are very important.
Not only an hour, but I have only an hour that people depends on. They want to spend more time for their feet.
Yes. So you find that people want to spend that time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for speaking up. So right now we've got 2 minutes or 15 minutes. I love this answer over here. And here's why I like it. Not because it's better, but because it's an entirely different philosophy to approach the body. And it's a very legitimate one. And I'm not just saying that to be nice. I like it. Her answer is people really like this and feet are super important. So her thought process is if the feet aren't right, like where are we even working our way upstairs? Right? So Westerners in their massage tend to be like shoulder, 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 low back, low back, low back, shoulder, 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 low back. Done. Eastern massage, they tend to think feet and legs and work their way up this structure. It's just different. Yeah. Okay. So But I'm sorry, Ms. Crody, I'm going to hold your 15 minutes for a second because we're already down this deep tunnel where we put two minutes on each foot. Okay, so now we're ready to flip them over. Oh, that's right, they got another side of the body. Okay, but we've done most of the body, we really have. How much time are we going to spend on the quads in front? I mean, the vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, vastus intermedius. By the way, why are they called vast? What's that word probably mean? Big. So the really big medial muscle, the really big lateral muscle, and the really big in-between muscle, and then the rectus femoris. How much time are we going to spend on those?
Say 5 each.
5 each, cool. So we flip this person, we're going to go 5 and 5 right here. Ms. Trotter, since I have you on the line, so to speak, you were so right about the pectoralis muscles, like the pec minor, really, but pec major too, and they're both in the same spot, so we can hit them both together. Probably won't get into the serratus anterior and stuff like that, but let's just talk about the pecs. How much time we spend on the pecs?
I would say at least 5. I would want to do more like 10, so you get more like an even, like 5.
But it can get a little irritating too on some people. They don't like to be rubbed that long. Maybe 5, maybe we keep it at 5. 5. So we're going to throw that in, the slipped over body up here, 5. So that's pretty good. We didn't do the front of the shins, and believe it or not, there really are really important muscles in the front of the shins, the tibialis anterior and the peroneals. And we haven't learned about them yet, but they're super important, and most therapists don't even touch them. So, any time for those? 5 minutes maybe? Together, like 5 more minutes? We haven't touched abdominals at all. I don't think this massage is even going to get to the abdominals. But don't worry, there's really only the rectus abdominis, the transverse abdominis, the quadratus lumborum, the external obliques, and the internal obliques. And they're really only some of the largest sheet muscles in the body. So we'll just forget about those. Is that... Oh, and we haven't gotten the iliopsoas, which is the inside of the body and really ties into the low back and things like that. But we probably don't have time. So let's leave that stuff out. Okay, so what do we got here? We got 25, 30, 40, 54, 64, 74 minutes. Does that mean we did this wrong? No, it doesn't. You know what it means is you can't do a 1-hour massage. And I know, Mrs. Suriel, I promised to answer this question. I don't have an answer to it. I will tell you the way I approach it, though, since you deserve an answer of some kind. I will give you my experience. So, and my experience kind of falls along 2 lines, and I think Ms. Karodi actually spoke to one of them. I really admire what she said. I think of 2 things. I think, 1, what do clients love the most? And I just spend more time on that because, by the way, everybody likes not everybody, I shouldn't say it all. Lots of people don't like everything, but lots of people like me like everything. I love having my hands done, but is it my favorite thing? No, but I love having them done. Could you work on them for 7 hours? Yeah, I love that. But is it my favorite thing? No, still not, right? So I have to make decisions for the client. And of course, if it's a client I know, like if I know you love having your nose rubbed, I'll make sure to include it. But if you don't, like I'm going to assume not. So I have some general things I just know people love. And the other thing I'm going to do is I put up more time on structural stuff. So here's what I mean by that. As important as I think these are, and I don't ever skip them because I don't want you to feel them skipped, and as important as I think these are, and I don't skip them because I don't ever want you to think I skipped them, I spend the absolute bare minimum amount of time on hands and arms that I possibly can. And here, I don't like doing it, but if I've got to cut somewhere, I can't cut your shoulders. Can't cut shoulders. I guarantee, Ms. Trotter, do you have people come in that ask just to have their shoulders worked on for the entire hour? Yeah, that's common, huh? That's not even unusual. Probably a day doesn't go by that somebody doesn't come in and say, just have them spend the whole time on my shoulders. Yep. Their shoulders. Not much. They get mad when you go down a little bit and you're like, I'm trying to tie it together. No. So I can't cut their shoulders. I can't cut their low back. I can't. Ties in their shoulders. I can't cut their glutes because their glutes tie into their low back. I can't cut their feet. Lots of therapists cut legs, but are legs more important than arms? We'll go a day without your legs and go a day without your arms, then you let me know. Legs are way more important than arms. Legs are way bigger than arms. Arms and hands, I love them. I'm not putting them down. I love them. If you come to me for 2.5 hours, I will give you the most amazing arm massage you've ever had. I mean, it will be amazing. But I don't have time. So I do some very fast moves on your arms and hands. Powerful, powerful. Assuming you don't come in and say, I play guitar and I want you to focus on my arms. I'll do a 2-hour massage on your arms. I've done that before. I've had a guy come in and play guitar and he asked me to work on one arm for an hour. I'll do it, but I've got to cut from somewhere. So these times weren't bad, but I honestly, I've got this down to about 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. So my arms and hands, 4 minutes. And I'm thorough. I mean, I'm really pumping them. I hit the entire thing, by the way. But there's no like, let's gently start. I mean, we got to get going. Arms and hands. I spend more than 2 minutes on feet, though. Ms. Crody's right. I got to put this time back in here. I get this time into the central area. Yeah. So, anyway, that saves us a little bit of time. What does that save us? We had 5, 10. So that saves us 6 minutes here. Gets us back down to 68. Now we're only 8 minutes over. Now we're only 8 minutes over, and boy, are we still really pushing it. I guess I'd cut legs. Not because I think they should be cut, but because most people think they should be cut. Most people, if you asked them, would you rather me work some more time on your back or your legs, what would they say? Back. Now, don't get me wrong. I have runners come to me and they say, I don't want you to touch my back at all. I want you to spend 2 hours on my legs. I have it happen all the time. But I'm talking about a typical massage. And so anyway, that's what I do, Ms. Suriel, is I just kind of look at, oh my God. So there's a couple of things that I think about. Let me erase this. One is, you really can't do a 60-minute massage well. It just can't be done. Two, I mean, you can do a neat treatment in 60 minutes. You can be a good 60-minute therapist, but it's just not enough time to address this. No way, right? So what I do is, if I start my clients face down, which I do, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with starting them face up. It was just the way I was trained, so I tend to start people face down. That doesn't matter, that's up to you. But if I start them face down, I spend about 2/3 of my time face down and about 1/3 face up. Whatever I'm doing. And again, that's if there's no special requests, blah, blah, blah. I usually work their arms and neck face up. I don't like working their arms face down. There's no need for me. I don't do anything that you are face down that you don't have to be face down for. Because you're in that face cradle this whole time, and there's no need to leave you in here unless I need you in here. And I need you in here to get to your back, shoulders, and butt. Back, shoulders, glutes, right? And the back of your legs. So I'm doing back, shoulder, glutes, hamstrings, calves, bam, and then I flip you. But I spend about 2/3 of the massage on back, shoulders, glutes, hamstrings, calves. Then I flip you. I hit your, I've got 20 minutes left. I try to race through your quads, which I do spend more time on, the front of your shin, and then I blast through your arms and hands, and I hope, I pray to get to the neck with 10 minutes left. That's my ideal scenario. And I love finishing on neck for 2 reasons. Almost everybody loves neck work. Almost everybody loves neck work. It's almost unheard of. There are people out there, and if you're one of them, that's fine. Don't feel bad. But almost everybody loves neck, and almost everybody kind of answers the neck and shoulders kind of question the same way they answer the feet question if they like having feet done, which is they'd be happy for me to spend an hour on their neck. So I love getting to the end and finishing on neck because it allows me to do timing. This is when I sit down in my chair and I look up at the clock and I think, wow, good job, Tap Scott. You got 9 minutes left. And I do exactly 9 minutes of neck work. Well, if I get to the end, I'm like, shoot, I got 3 minutes left. I do 3 minutes of neck work, and if for some weird reason it's a 2-hour massage and I've got 20 minutes of neck work left, that's fine. That's a great day for me. I can work neck. I can work your neck for an hour. I mean, I cut it in your shoulders and all this stuff, but the point is it's an area that I can expand and contract. So I like to end on neck or feet. The problem with ending on feet is some people don't like their feet done. So I feel like I've talked a lot here, but I will tell you one last little nugget since you guys seem to be asking about it. And that is something that a student solved for me 3 years ago that I hadn't solved in 25 years of massage therapy. So you guys could have solved it, I'm just not that smart. So I normally work a client face down, right? I work them face down, I kind of, I work their back and their glutes and their legs, right? Then I flip them over. Sorry, I work their back, their glutes, their legs, and I work their feet. And then I flip them over and do the front of their legs, their hands, and their head and neck. Well, the problem with doing that is you've rubbed their feet before you rub their face. Now, I've been doing that for 25 years. And some therapists, what they do is after they rub your back and your legs and your feet, they leave the table, wash their hands, and then flip you over. It's very time consuming, and I don't think you should leave the body. Now, I've never run into a problem with it. I've had a few clients mention it, but I've never run into a problem with it. My big thing is if your feet are dirty, then you should wash them before you have me touch them, right? That's your problem. But it's not ideal. And then I had Helen Cole take my class, and she taught me the Cole ending. Helen Cole massages people's back and shoulders and glutes and legs, and she skips their feet. She flips them over, quickly does their thighs and shins and arms and hands. She gets up to their head and neck with honestly like sometimes 20 minutes to spare, 15 minutes to spare. And she has their neck in their hands and she does this and she says, "Do you like having your feet done?" And if they say yes, she wheels down, does their feet, she does their neck and then she finishes on their feet. Because people that love their feet done love having it finished. That's fine with them. But you want to finish on something strong. If they say, "No, I don't," then she gives them extra neck time, and they love extra neck time because extra neck time is really extra shoulder time. The neck and the shoulders are intimately, once we study them, you guys will be like, "Oh my God, they're the same thing." And it's a great thing, and I call it the Cole ending. So she skips feet, she gets to neck with enough time to do feet. If they don't want feet, she does more neck. If they do want feet, she does neck and then finishes on feet. Either way, she's finishing with dessert. And she's finishing with things that by the time you graduate this class, you will be able to do an hour of neck work and an hour of footwork. You will never be in a position where you'd be like, "Oh, there's too much time left at the end." It could be a 15-hour massage. I'll be like, "You got 45 minutes to work on feet," and you'll be like, "Yes, yes," because there's always stuff to do on feet and neck. And like Miss Carodi said, she would like 15 minutes in a 1-hour massage on feet. It's that important. And I would agree with her. So, Ms. Suriel, you spend as much time as you can on shoulders, back, and glutes. You spend as much time on shoulders, back, and glutes as you can because they're big relief areas. You get a lot of relief from shoulders, back, and glutes. You try to get feet in there because they're the foundation. And then you start rushing through legs, you really rush through arms, and you finish on neck. Something like that. That's my answer. It's not a very good one.
I really appreciate, I think that's a very good answer.
You're very